All right, hello, welcome back. So, let's see where we are now here. Hello. Sorry, I don't speak Spanish. Hola, ¿cómo estás? What does that mean? I mean, I know hola means hello. All right, so we're working on this part here, function arguments and closures, and we had some issues with the closure variables, the closure captures. They weren't hooked up properly to the closures, and there's still some issues here. So I'm going to. Oh, hello, how are you? Oh, okay. I'm great, how are you? No habla español. I don't know how to say it. There's probably some kind of form of the verb there that I'm not pronouncing correctly, but. Okay. So somewhere along here we're gonna get some kind of error, not sure when. I mean, we can just continue. Okay, so here's the 516. Okay, yeah, well, I do recognize that. So what I did was I actually, because yeah, I'm not gonna justify this, but I did ask AI to kind of try to figure this out. And I mean, I was also thinking this here, that it says that there is some mismatch of closure identifiers and their address and all that. And it did do some kind of test here. Then it says that, I mean, it solved the issue, but maybe there's another issue that it did not solve. So I don't know actually, but they did not solve this issue. I'll run zig build here, and yeah, we still get this issue here. So breakpoint add IR 516. Okay, so we're trying to set R plus 4 equals C plus 1, and I think C plus 1 is what's not correct at this point. So let's see, this is thread 5, closure is at 1B. Yeah, and C plus 1 is this read-only here, so it cannot be dereferenced. Yeah, so we still have this issue. So what I'm gonna do is, because I'm lazy right now, is I'm just gonna ask AI, hey, could you run the same IR or .rm file except not dry run? We get an error. So you can see a little bit on how I use these AI tools, or I mean, I'm mostly using Codex. Could you run the same .run file except not dry run? Because we don't get the error. Otherwise, we get an error when doing it. Add instructions at 516. Instruction address 516. Set 5 hex 16. Instruction address. And we'll see what it pops up. I could also just told it the error, I guess. And usually also when I try to do this, I try to just make it not do any code changes, because then it's hard to understand like what did it actually change, and did I even want those changes, you know. So usually I will tell it to just investigate and not like solve the problem. But now what I didn't remember to do that now, but when you just type like this and you don't hint at saying, hey, could you suggest some solutions, or could you investigate and suggest solutions. Actually, I think you have to say something like suggest solutions, or just explicitly say like don't do any code changes, just investigate what the cause is or something like that. Yeah, see, now it's starting to like do some changes here. Runtime failure, second bug, regression from not a regression. Yeah, I know. Okay, well, good that it recognized that. I reproduced it, and the root cause is that the call closure is still allocated too small. What? Assume outer characters are densely packed after parameter. I'm not sure if that is the issue. While the callee's actual closure frame can interleave mutable locals before outer captures, I'm fixing the call site method to care about total slow count and each other. Yeah, so we had a problem before where the closure was actually allocated like too small because it only captured like the parameters. Now we're capturing, the size for the closure allocated is the parameters for the function call and also the closure for the function as well. Oh, what is it doing now? It's creating like a struct here. Closure capture. Okay, so it's including identify. Okay. Slot identifier. Okay. I mean, I was using the array order as to where those closure variables would be, but here we have like a specific slot on each one now instead, I guess. Okay, let's just see what it says here. Would you like to run the following command? Reason, do you want to allow rerunning? Yeah. Okay, well, let's just do this so we don't have to. It's good that it asks for permission. I think they have a good. I mean, the only thing stopping it from running commands is basically the Codex program itself. But you are basically giving it full permission to run any command, basically, on your user. But they have like guardrails around that's like built in to the Codex program. Okay, so let's see what it said here. Running without trying reproduce the reported failure. Yes. Set 5 instruction 16, which is the set. Yes, exactly. So it got this correct here. The root cause was in compiler 1475 and 1650. Function call closure construction all tracked outer capture names, not the call is full closure slot layout. Okay, well I was thinking like, because it basically, when you add a closure variable, it also adds the order of how you add it is the same as the actual relative address. So that's why I'm thinking like it wasn't necessary. But there might be some misalignment there, I'm not sure. That meant the call closure was too small and assumed captures were packed right after arguments, while the actual call frame can place mutable locals before outer captures. I mean, yeah, okay, that is true. Although I wasn't sure if that actually was a problem or not. But probably it is. In this case, execution handles overwrote captured X and the nested closure later dereferenced the wrong slot, right? Okay, so apparently it should work now. Alright. I changed the compiler to store total closure slot count for each instruction set. Each other captures real slot index allocates full call closure size and writes. Okay. So it's basically storing the slot number now with the identifier, and that makes sure that we have the same thing. Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay, well, apparently this works. Hello, Coding Theriuma. What's up? Welcome. Alright, so this works now. Does it work twice? Yeah. So this file is like testing function. Well, it's testing like function declaration, parameters, and closures at the same time. Basically function closures here. So we're passing in. So we're calling it. So here's a function, right? And we have a parameter, string, and here's the function body. And here, like, that's the end of the function after that. And so we have another function as well, which is the exact same thing. Just to check, you know, how the closures work, basically. So you declare a variable here, which is a mutable, x equals 3, and then we create a function which refers to x, which is this x here. And hello, Polly, what's up? And or wait, Polly? No, Paul. Sorry. My eyesight has deteriorated enough to, yeah, not see that. Anyway, this x is referring to this x, so it's kind of like this is capturing this in a closure, except the closure is not created until we call the function. So the value of x depends on, like, the value of x of this x here depends on what x is at the moment we call the function. So at here x is 5, and we call it to be 5. It's not depending on what the value is when we declare the function. That is the distinction here. If it would be that, then x would never change. It would be 3, basically like a constant almost that you put in here to be 3. And then over here, well, x is 5, so this would be 5. And then same here, we change x, and then we call, and that has changed what they're doing. And this is the same now as in bash. So if we look at bash and we run this, whoops, you can see that it has the same behavior. So x is 3, we have a function hello, x is 5, function hello. Yeah, same thing here. All right, cool. So we basically have like function. I'm just gonna check if like the basic stuff still works. It should, but just to make sure, you know, bindings. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's go to the to-do. Whoops, no, IR. Okay. So, yeah, we got the cat thing as well. I think this is not actually an issue, so I'm gonna remove this because the issue is... Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna try this here. Oops, you can't run it like that. You have to do like runic, enable IR, cat. Alright, so you can see that this actually does work right now. The only thing that doesn't work is the only thing that I've discovered doesn't work is Control D in Bash. Control D closes standard in for the main process that you're running. So, but it has to be actually like that. And that happens. I guess it happens when you run like a bash script. But if you're running like another process like this, like Control D is not a, like Control C is an actual interruption signal, while Control D is not. So Control D is a custom like bash keyboard combination that closes standard in, and we have to support that in Runic as well if we wanna you know, mimic that behavior. But I've written down that it feels like a good enough, you know, a good enough thing that we could support here then. Also, I want to try something else actually. So if we go to cat, we run this. Whoops, no, we have to run like this. Okay, so if I do this and then Control W, it does actually, I think it uses like the standard line edit thing. Okay, but anyway, or maybe it's cat. Maybe cat is interpreting the signals, perhaps, or the like Control W I was pressing there to delete a word, or yeah. Okay. So where are we now? Let's go through to do so we can update it a little bit. So we have pipe, right? We don't have like values that can pipe into something else yet, I don't believe. Compiler for loops is really on the list right now. Like that is probably the next thing we're gonna do. Maybe, probably even today. Because functions, I mean, they work. I just I want to try piping functions as well, because that might not work. Also, we have these things, of course, which are very core for MVP, I think. Redirections, like writing to files and other pipes and stuff. You know, and or for like you know, exit codes, error handling. I'm not sure actually what we're gonna get, but basically these two are very core. Those are we probably or we'll definitely get to MVP for those. Function declarations, we have arguments. We have arguments now in calls. We also have closures. I'm just gonna actually, you know, closures. I'm just gonna test another thing, which is modifying. So, what if we said, what if we have another function here, which is like modify x. I hate it when a function name has like, you know, the end is just 1, because it always looks weird, especially when you have an x and y, like position x, position y. It always looks like weird. I'm gonna do this. Anyway, so x is modified, so we're just gonna, you know, add 1, I guess. Actually, I'm not sure if we have this. No, add a sign not yet supported. Okay, maybe. Okay, those also, they add a sign on those, whatever it was called, like commutative. No, what were they called? Those. Oh yeah, that's in MVP. Compound assignment. Yeah. So compound assignment. Instructions. No, compiler. Where is that? Compiler. Okay, I guess it would be in here somewhere, like binary. There's no binary in here. Okay. I'm just gonna add compound assignments. Compound. All right. Assignments operators. Okay. But for now, let's just set it to 1, I guess. So we call modify x, and then we call hello again. Okay. We have an issue here. Okay, let's make this. Let's make this. A simpler program. So we have a function modify x. So first we echo x, and then we call modify x, and then we echo x again. Can we run this? No. Okay, good. So let's get rid of these and this. Do we get an issue now? No, we don't, but we can call it and then get an issue. So I think, yeah, we have to call it to be able to see what's going on. So here are the instructions. Is it a day off in Sweden today? No, but I have, like, I'm basically I've got time over to do this, so today we'll see for the rest of the week. It's a little bit like on and off basically, but I have a very nice you know, conditions, as you could say, at work. Like as long as they are happy with what I'm doing, there's no issue. All right, so let's see. So I can probably stream like, I don't know, a couple of hours maybe. Okay, so here's the initial thing we have now. So basically these things, this thing is, yeah, it's here. We're allocating 1. So this is immutable, so it's stored on the heap here. And then we set it to 3, the place there. And then this is kind of a way to kind of for us to be able to have a stable address in this closure for, or scope, or whatever you want to call it, for this pointer here. So this is pointing to this variable here. It's like a reference here. Okay, with a stable, like compile time known address basically. so we can refer to it in other places. Okay, and then we have the modify function, which doesn't really compile into anything. Well, actually, sorry, it does compile. Not here, but it will compile into another set, which is over here, which is set 4. And we're basically compiling this binary expression here, binary. And x is an identifier, and then we have 1, which is just a literal. And here is the result of the compilation, which it just sets the pointer dereferenced to 1. Excuse me. So that actually looks correct, I would say. There's only one like, you know, variable, so that should look correct here, I think. We'll see though. Here in the main thread though, we are, sorry, where are we? 19. Okay, so alloc1, this is the closure for the function then. And we have like a copy for the function here, or I mean the closure, which is, you know, I'll probably ask AI to solve this in a better way. Maybe we'll see, because I'm tired of this closure stuff. But yeah, we're creating like 2 closures because of how we're dealing with. Because to make things conform better, there's probably a more deeper solution to that issue, but I'm too lazy to figure that out right now. Wait, I thought in most of the world a day off after 8th of March. Oh, I see. So that was the reason why you asked. Okay, so 8th of March. Wait, you said day off after 8th of March. What is 8th of, like, 8th of March, International Women's Day? Is that a day off? Wait, I'll check the calendar in Sweden here. So there's no special thing in March for us. However, in say like there's a bunch of things happening, but there's no like free, or there's no day offs. There is day off in April. In the beginning of April, we have Easter, and there usually is like, I don't know, 2 or maybe even 3 sometimes extra days. Actually, no, 2 should be the 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's almost like 4 days, like holidays or days that are like supposed to be off in row, and I guess depending on how they land, they usually land on the weekend. I don't really know how that works. Actually, you know what? I just remembered. It's actually the same days every time, because it's called Långfredagen, which means Long Friday. So that's always a Friday. Okay, yeah. So we're free on the 3rd of April, and then this Monday after that. So that's Easter. Hello. In my country, it's usually a day off, and 8th of March goes on Sunday, Saturday, day off moves on Monday. Okay, so what's the reason for the day off though? Like, is it actually International Women's Day, or is there some other holiday that you have? let's see. So we allocate. So that's the closure there. We set it to R. Then we set. So R2 is now what? Nothing. Wait, what? Why is this R2 here? Okay, let's run this in the debugger and we'll see. So R2, you can see here, starts out as void, like nothing there, of course. And we're initializing that variable. We have the closure there. And this is the weird part where we're kind of using R2, except we're not actually using it. I'm not sure if it was AI that messed something up here. I'm gonna blame it on AI. Okay, International Women's Day, interesting. Because I would think that was okay. The reason why I'm asking is because usually I think holidays are usually like stem from like old traditions. I don't know. Maybe I'm not keeping up with the times. But International Women's Day seems like a fairly new concept. Like you know, if taking history into account. But yeah, interesting. Okay. Cool. It's always nice with a day off there. But yeah, then we have like, yeah, so we have Easter. There's 2 day offs there. And what else? It looks like we have like, yeah, and then 1st of May is also day off. And then we have another thing in May as well. Yeah. Anyway. So we have plenty of day offs in around this time of year. Let's see. And soon, maybe, yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, my work situation is also probably gonna change here soon. So we'll see how many days off I will get. Maybe all days off. Now we'll see. What am I doing? Okay, I want to figure out. Yeah, so why? I think it's the closure, like compile function call. And there should be like R2 here somewhere. We have the arguments, but there's no arguments. We have closure captures, so we should have 1 capture. And here we set R2. Yep, this is definitely AI doing stuff. I'm not sure exactly how it was supposed to work here. Let's say we had an argument. This was now set to the closure down ref. So I mean, and then R2 wasn't really changed. So well, the value in R2. So I guess we can set it up here instead. And then we don't need to set it here. And now it should be fine, I think. Although, what about the actual closure? We should set So that's the capture slot. We should also set like the actual closure. I don't know, maybe this is supposed to be R1 actually. So we're setting R here. Let's do this and then use R instead. No, yeah, I think it should be R2, but we should also set R1. Okay, well, I guess we'll try this out. I mean, it did work before, so I'm confused. Yeah, now we're setting R and R2. And we're setting R2, like the first closure value there, to be C+1, C+0, which should be the pointer to that. Okay, so we can actually use R1 instead then. But will that break the other test then, though? No, this is an error. See, now we're using R instead. At least they have 1st of May in common. Ah, I see. Nice. But then after that, I think it's like midsummer or something. And then something close to Halloween. And then Christmas. Okay, R is 2. Oops. Okay, it's empty. And now it's set to 1, which should be correct. Yeah, so it's like a pointer to the actual place, which is correct. And then we fork. Okay, hang on. So it actually did set it to 1. So that... Wait, so does it work now? Oh, okay, so it actually worked. Okay, so maybe I was too quick with the thing. Okay, so modify. So let's now actually do this so we can see some output. So there we go. Now the question is, will the old one still work? No. Because now we have an issue. Another issue. Because when we populate... You know what? Maybe we can do... Maybe we can check, like, let's say... I want to say if it's a location that is is a location. Well, we can just say if it's a location and location is equal to a data. I think this should be the only one that's not compatible here. So if so, let's see. So if this is true, that means we should use R2 here. Otherwise, we use R. And also, I think, yeah, we should also set R as well here then. No, then R should point to R2. I don't really understand how that was supposed to work before. Okay, I guess we'll just try this. Because that was how it was before. No? So I think we actually need to set so we set R2 and we also set R to point to R2. And this maybe? Oops. No. Okay. So we got an argument. We set R2 to be the actual place. So the arguments should be correct. Wait, R2 equals R. Oh, so we're done? Oh, I see. So R2, oh, I see. So R2 is actually reused here. Ah. Oh. So we have to do this. Okay. Do you use any kind of AI model or coding? Yes. So in fact, when I first started the project, it was all AI. I didn't even look at the code. But then after a while, since I didn't really look at the code, but I just added new features, and at some point the AI was just like, hey, I can't do this. And I was like, well, why? And it was like, well, I need to do this and this and this and this before. And I was like, okay, I will do that then. And it was like, no, it basically gave up. And what had happened was that it basically had like made several versions of the same thing. And when I asked it to, well, now so basically it's like, I don't really exactly remember what it was, but basically I was asking it to add a bunch of features, and then it basically did kind of like different branches of the same thing, which in my mind would be the same, you know, the same system, but it made different systems. And then I asked it to, okay, well, now that we got this and this and this, we should be able to do this now. And it was like, no, I can't do that because they are in different parts and I need to like change everything. And like, yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I just gave up on AI at that point, and took it over for myself because I did quite enjoy, you know, making the language as well. So I just, I just took over from there, and I had to change like things in the lexer, in the parser, and a lot of stuff, of course, in the interpreter. Basically, yeah, the type checker I had to redo from scratch. Also, there's an LSP, which I did from scratch as well, and then. But since then I haven't used AI until basically now, where now we're deep in the weeds of like this IR language, which is also like a rewrite of the previous. So how I made it work before was I was interpreting the AST directly, but now I've switched to using an IR language in between. So we're compiling the AST into an IR language or a bytecode or whatever you want to call it. It's basically another language that is then getting interpreted by an interpreter. So now it's like, okay, well, sometimes it's hard to keep track of things, and I don't know. I just, for a long time I wanted to do this myself, but I feel like I'm getting to the end of my patience with this project. So I just wanted to, I just want to get the MVP out, and I'm taking help from AI to figure some stuff out, right? So I've asked it 2 questions so far, but and that's in the course of like since Friday or something like that. I always want to keep track of what it is doing, so I don't lose the context of what is in the code. I always I want to be very careful using AIs so it doesn't like mess up other things. But I feel like AI right now is very good. I mean, depending on which model you're using, of course, as well. But if you're using there are competent models that can help you a lot and do a lot of things themselves. But of course you always have to, you know, keep a close eye on it. But it's really nice, especially when you just tell it to, hey, could you investigate this? Could you suggest some solutions to this issue? And it would find, you know, it would list a bunch of stuff, and it would argue for why would this be good or better than the other, and so on. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do, which is really nice because, I mean, sometimes you have more context. I mean, always almost you have more context of the project than the AI has. So it might not understand at the time why would you go in a different direction that it will suggest. But so that's why I think it's a good workflow to ask for suggestions, so it doesn't do any code changes, because well, at least for Codex, it like eagerly kind of does code changes for you, which is nice sometimes, but sometimes you just want some suggestions. But yeah, I really enjoy using it sometimes for the correct purposes. Hello, bro, said who? What's up? What's up? How's it going? Alright, so let's see. So we're setting R2, we're setting R, and here we're setting R2 again. So next time we need to set R2 again. So basically down here we have to set R2 again to make it point to the correct place. Also, I'm gonna set R as well, so it's also correctly pointing to the correct place. And let's try this again. Okay, there we go. Now this works. Okay, great. And the question is, does it work for the other example? Yes. Oh my god, that is very nice. That is very good. Cool. So that means that the closures, function closures, now work. We can refer to mutable variables. We can also modify the mutable variables and have it change in the outer scope or where it lives. I want to try another example as well. What's happening? Closures 3. I want to try a constant this time. So, oops. Function hello. Actually, I'm not sure if you have to have expected type identifier. Okay, so you have to have the types. I would want to make them optional. Okay, so that is now an issue. So because a constant is different than a mutable, because a constant doesn't have a place on the heap, so it's different. You've been really enjoying TypeScript and learning about Stencil.js. Stencil.js seems really interesting, but kind of forces you to very specific project structure and already have something. I see, interesting, because I never actually heard about Stencil.js until a couple of weeks ago, where we talked about web development on a stream. And yeah, I actually never heard of it, but it seems really interesting. I mean, it seems like one of those directions you would go if you want to break out of the whole React world, or if you want to learn something new. I guess you don't have to come from React, but there's usually, or there's a lot of people, I guess, in the React world who want to try other stuff because it's very dominating, but make it like simpler. I'm gonna check out Stencil.js at some point. I still don't really fully grasp what it is, but I haven't tried it. But from what I've heard so far, it could be a way to compile maybe to some kind of client code. I'll see what it does. It can output React Vue components, but the main thing is it can also create vanilla. Oh, I see. Web components. So it can. So it's like agnostic on what it can compile to. That's pretty cool. So it's like it's a component library supports TSX. Huh. Interesting. Because what I was looking at is doing something like Alpine JS plus HTMX and using stencil.js to compile into those kind of components. I'm not sure if there is something like that, but it was explored a little bit in a stream a couple of weeks ago. I'll just BRB 1 second here. I'll be right back. Alright. Stencil.js library for building reusable scalable component libraries. Generate small, blazing fast web components that run everywhere. Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna check it out sooner or later. Okay. So this thing here gives us a compiler error. In undereference. Okay, so that would be here or here. Okay. But now this doesn't work. So we can actually check. No, we can't check for. Actually, you know what? We can check if it's a value. So let's do like if it's a location. No, if it's a value. No, this should be if it's a location. We do under reference. Otherwise, it should be a value. So at that point, we do that, and then it's basically a value means it's like comp time now. There we go. There we go. This still works. And that also works. Awesome. If you use it as a web component generator, you still use HTML for laying out the page. Yes. I mean, yeah, okay, sure. So, I mean, does it... But you said that it could generate like React or other things as well. So what I was thinking is like it would generate... Well, I don't really know what it would generate in terms of Alpine and HTMX. But... I mean, when I've set up projects for myself, I usually use some kind of templating. So you would have these snippets of HTML to be able to like build the whole thing, or you could just have like build every, I guess you could just build every page directly in one HTML file. But I would really want something that is you could compile like JSX or something to HTMX and Alpine. It will like hook it up and all that. There's no VDOM, yeah. Or anything when you decide to use it. Creating web components, which seems to be the same thing. Right. Yeah, I know since it's not React and just web components. Although web components do use Shadow DOM, which I still find weird. But like how you actually use it and stuff. Like if you were writing web components yourself, I always trip up. The shadow component stuff always trips me up. Okay, cool. So we can call, I think, closures done. Closures, yeah. Awesome. So the question now, what do we want to do? Maybe this is like an easy pick. It's either gonna be this, which is gonna be a larger undertaking, or just this, which is like an easy pick, and then I'll maybe to do loops tomorrow, and we'll focus the whole day on that. I could even ask AI to kind of make a suggestion and also look at the original, because I already did implement this in the other version in the earlier version of this language, which was not using IR. It was interpreting the AST directly, and then I could just use like zig constructs to be able to create this. But now I have to do the same thing except in IR. So another thing we could do is also ask IR to kind of try to stabilize some of the concepts in the compiler and stuff, to make it easier to like extend and use. Also, so the two big ones I think that's remaining in like MVP is the for loops and these things here, the redirections, and this is probably not that hard. This is just an if statement basically, which we already have, so this wouldn't be that hard. But this one should be pretty that there are probably a lot of things going on here, and probably we'll only get to like a subset of what's, you know, possible in bash probably, but yeah. And then but this one seems like an easy pick, so I think what we'll do is we'll do this one and then we'll call it today, and then probably tomorrow we'll tackle the for loops. And in the meantime I will also like ask AI to kind of get some suggestions and maybe stabilize the compiler a little bit. But yeah, let's start with this one here. Yeah, stencil.js seems like a really interesting thing. I'm gonna check it out, especially since more people are seeming to talk about it as well. So I haven't actually heard anyone talk about it where I work or earlier. Maybe it's like because something happened, I don't know, something new came out or something, I don't know. But I'll definitely check it out. Okay, so we got compound assignment. So I'll do a new one, compound assignments. And I think after this and the for loops, we'll basically go back to where we left before Runic, or before IR. So I think that at that stage, after the for loops, I think I'm gonna merge IR into the main branch, because then we're back to where we were basically, except now we have a bunch of more stuff we can do. Okay, so compound assignment. So basically, let's say we have x equals 1, and then we'll say, well, x equals x right now, and then x plus equals 2. And then we'll say x plus equals 2. And then now x is equal to x. Okay, and of course this doesn't work because we don't have the add assign, not yet supported. So let's see if I can remember where we need to go to fix that. I believe it should be in here, and then compile binary, because we should get the binary operator for it. So question is it gonna be one of these? I mean, it's gonna be some kind of assignment operation. I mean, it's like assign and add together. So possibly we could just break it up here. So we'll do like assign, no, what is it called? Add assign. For me, I like it because I want to use native features as much as possible, but I understand when other stuff exists as well. Yeah, of course, yeah. Without native features, you wouldn't be able to do anything. No, but yeah, I get what you mean. It's like sometimes like these platform or frameworks, I'm gonna call it, like React, is getting like very abstract at some point. And of course, I also realize like why you would want it like that. I mean, it's a different way of building the application. I just wish there was something that did the same thing, except what you would get out would be more like you would work more close to native code, except and then also get like but so I wouldn't want to work in native JS or native HTML straight up. I would like to have, like, let's say HTMX and Alpine JS as a sort of, it would be nice to have that kind of built in into it. That would be the coolest thing, if you could like build that into HTML and JavaScript, or at least make it feel like it's built in. That would be really nice. Like for now, like web components, like doing natively web components natively is very, I don't know, it's so much friction when you're building those components. It's like, because it's not really like building the React, which is pretty simple, where it's very easy. You have to do like a lot of things. And the web components also with styling is also very weird, because it's like it's isolated, which I don't really like. I want to have an application that the components are supposed to work together and they are not supposed to be like isolated, like iframes. But yeah, there's probably a way to do it, but I don't know. That feels like the purpose of them were supposed to be that they should be able to work anywhere. But yeah, there should also be, you know, components that are supposed to be working together in the for a specific application, and not just have it like, hey, here's a shareable component you can use anywhere. Okay, so let's do this one. Add a sign. I mean, really, add a sign is basically just saying, you know, you have x plus equals 2. This should really be x equals x plus 2, right? So really, we could just rewrite it into this form and it should just work. So basically, we need to create a new binary expression, or two new binary expressions, and then compile those, basically. So it's just gonna be, you know, return compile binary and then this would be, oops, operator blah 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 span. So operator would be assign, I believe, yeah, and then left, oops, span is, I mean, we should just use the original expression. There. Left. So, okay, this is where we need to create new expressions, but we can do that. So left is basically, it's just going to be x here. So that's the same expression as this. Actually, we could just borrow that expression. So we can just say binary left. Wait. Yeah, no, that should be fine. And then right, here's we want to create a new expression. So it's going to be, you know, this is going to be right. Where we now allocator create a expression, and then this one is going to be a binary. Why is it doing that? Yeah. Oh, I see. There we go. No. Well, now we got these ones, but basically now this should work. Yeah. Okay. So operator should be. So the operator now is, I mean, it's based on what this is. So this is add, but we could really try to derive the operator based on the binary operator. So this could be like switch on binary operator. And if it's add a sign, it's gonna be add. You know what? Maybe I even have this already. No, maybe not. Precedence from token. Capture standard is assignment. Oh yeah, unwrap assign. We already have this here, so we can just say that this is. Whoops. This would be unwrap. Well, binary operator unwrap assign. And we have all these. I wish there was a way to like expand this, like have some kind of function that we could call like expanding a time known list of this. I'm not sure if you can do that, but that would also be good, because I always try to have like one source of truth when it comes to these things, otherwise you might miss something. Although, let's say we do add something. Okay, we do have else here, so that's bad, because this will catch all things. Like if we add more binary expressions, this will kind of hide those. But if we remove it, we'll see if we actually have any binary expressions that we don't support yet. So here it says like must handle all possibilities. So what are the possibilities that we don't have yet? That is the question. I don't know. And that is one of the issues with this LSP, because it's not that great with giving you that here. I mean, one thing you can do is just get, let's say member, for example. If we already had member, I'm just gonna say unreachable here. Another thing you can do is do something like this, where you would say this is not yet supported or something like that. Or we could try, is there like unsupported binary operation? Yeah, so you could just do this. Okay, so if we were to add member again, do we get an issue, or do we get a compiler? Yeah, duplicate switch member. So it goes to the thing that actually has the duplicate. So if we just add, oops, no. If we just add everything here, I believe these, well, it's probably gonna be just these two, I think. Logical and duplicate. Oh, I see. So what's missing now? Maybe there's no missing now because we added. Okay, well, now we get an error here. Okay, so the left of this would be the same thing, yeah. So this would be the same expression. It would be left. And then right would be binary right. So left and right. Left and right. And then we're going to use the same span. Okay. So now we're taking, basically we're taking like this kind of expression and we're creating two new expressions, basically. And we're expanding it here. And then we're compiling this expression instead, because that should be supported. And of course, it doesn't have to be add; it can be anything, because we're using the unwrap assign function to find the correct operator. But the pattern should be the same for all of those. Okay. So let's go to our test file and try this out. And there we go. It works. I was expecting it not to work, but there you go. So let's do like -3 should go back to 0. Yeah. And well, now we have 0. I guess we'll do like -4. Actually, this would be interesting because oh, it goes to 0. So I think the values are like signed or unsigned. We have to go to the evaluator. Subtract. Yeah, these are unsigned, so that might not be great. Yeah, this is one of the things that we need to figure out. Like, how do we want the numbers to actually work? But yeah, it's good that I think it's. Is it good or is it not good that it did not crash or anything? I'm just gonna do -2. My idea was to do like -1 and then times that, but obviously that doesn't work. So let's just times this by 5. And now we're up to 5. Actually, let's do this so we get something else. So 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, minus 1 is equal to 2, times 5 is equal to 10, and divided by 2. Actually, let's try divided by 2.5. Is 4. Yeah. And then we also have remainder. So remainder, I guess maybe we'll try 3. And that should be 1. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think that's all of them. Awesome. So that works. Great. So that was that. That was way quicker than I was expecting, actually. Okay. Oh yeah, another thing also I think that I want to have is like member access. Member access is also one thing I have to add here. So member access. It's also like, I mean, there's so much things that I want to add at some point, but we'll do like execution results for now. Like member access and like generic struct features, so that it doesn't really matter what we're trying to access member. If it's a struct and it follows the struct pattern, it doesn't matter if it's an execution result or whatever, we can still access the thing and it's gonna be great. Okay. What else? So what is this about? Materialize string, execution result. So that actually should work, I believe. Because we can do like, well, let's do like IR echo. Let's do like execution result actually. So basically what it is you say that, hey, we have something, oops, that echoes hello world, and that's bound to S. So if we run this, we don't get any output, right? But if we echo that, we get the output that command actually outputted. I'm gonna do printf so we don't get the new line. So yeah, that does work. So yeah, so we can mark, we can tick that off. So, which we did. Okay. Debugger. I think the debugger is probably only gonna be used by me, basically. So I won't really fix up the debugger too much. Like it's probably yeah. It could potentially be something that is supposed to be like user friendly, you know. But I think for now, I'm only basically using it for debugging the compiler. So I won't put that much effort into the debugger. Of course, it would be cool to have a very user friendly debugger that everyone could use and that could work like better, but yeah. And then there's some random stuff, like there's some bug here. Yeah, this thing here is like one of the things needed to be able to make it work more like bash. So that is a bug we need to fix, which is like, yeah, it's not really a super small thing. We have cat on its own does not echo back, so that is not true. So I will get rid of that. That's not true anymore. So that is fixed basically. And then we have support for Ctrl D. So I think those things, like the things that are listed in here, are probably the when it's done. Like this one, I want to scope this to like MVP. So pipes, so values as pipes, probably not gonna have. So I'll things that are not MVP, I'm gonna mark not MVP here. Okay, this is MVP, I think. That is probably not that hard to do. This is MVP. This is not MVP. This is not MVP. But it's very interesting. Like this is kind of blurring the lines between zig and bash. Like, because this is like, this is gonna make it feel more like Zig because of how we handle the errors. But these two are gonna be MVP. However, this is probably gonna be scoped off a little bit, so we'll have to figure that out. This is probably the last thing we're gonna do. And then member access execution result, yeah, that has to be... Does that have to be working? Probably not. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna scope this off MVP, not MVP. We already can access the result. It's just that we can't access it by member access. It's basically you can coerce an execution result to a string that will, you know, read from standard out standard error. You can coerce it into an exit code in a Boolean expression, and that so you can technically access the members. It's just that you have to coerce it to different types to be able to do it. So it's not super necessary to be able to access the members, but it could be cool for other things you could do as well. Debugger, we don't really care. I'm gonna mark this whole thing not MVP. And then the bugs, this we need to fix there, yes. I mean, it's really, I'm gonna move this up here to MISC so we can keep track of this. Okay. But I think if nothing else like comes up, I think these things, these two things, for loops with these iterators, these expressions, which probably is pretty simple to do. I can probably do it right now actually, but I think I will call it here for now, and I will jump on for loops next time. And the redirections, yeah, that's it. Then we have our MVP actually. So that's really cool. And if we go to like mvp.rn right now, we have only, I think only the arrays or the for loops here are the things that we cannot actually do. Actually, the Boolean algebra, I'm not sure. Also here we're using like and or. I don't remember if we support that anymore. So if I run this, there should be like, oh, there's leaked memory, unsupported binary operation. Excuse me. Which binary operation? Probably this one. Logical and logical or. No. It's member access. It's member access, right? That should be like a report error instead. Maybe not a compiler error. Yeah, okay, so it should actually go down here. All right, cool. So we'll just do that. Okay, now we'll get these reports instead. If we do runic enable IR MVP, we get this these reports instead. So we have a bunch of things here actually that's not supported. Okay, maybe I was wrong. But here's the for loop, not yet supported, yes. Member not yet supported, yeah. So maybe I'll change this or ignore this, maybe. We'll see. It's not, I mean, the member access is probably not that hard to do. I say, as I think 2 steps ahead, and it's probably kind of hard. Expression type array not yet supported. Oh, arrays are not supported. Okay, well that is actually that could be a larger thing actually. So yeah, I have to add that. Okay, data arrays. Yeah, I mean technically arrays would just be, we have the means to actually allocate an array and populate it and use it and all that. It's just that I have to think about how it's all gonna work together here. It's probably not gonna be that hard. I mean, we already have array-like things. But yeah, we need to be able to compile arrays and yeah, I'll just add arrays here as well. And I'll be able to access, maybe even member access for arrays would be cool to have. I'm not sure if, like, well, this would be like index, no, what is it called? Element access. Which actually, element access should probably be pretty easy actually. Okay. And then evaluator doesn't really need anything else for that, I don't think. No. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But okay, arrays was actually more what we needed there. Where? Yeah, here we go. Okay, arrays, and then for expression member. Array not sorted for expression. Yeah, okay, so it's for expression member access arrays that basically is left in the MVP file. I think also what we don't have is functions here. Yeah, functions with pipelines. I'm not sure, do we even have function? Okay, we do have, no? Yeah, here. So we do have basic functions here. Function demonstration with arguments as well. I would also add here, I want to add function closures. I'm not sure if that is the term like displayed here, but I will want to add function closures using string x. Hello, greeting, and then string x afterwards. Okay, so that's function closures. I mean, and then, okay, another thing also is that I would like to, the type checker and the LSP. I would like, because I think the LSP is basically done, I think. So we would have to kind of align LSP, because LSP, the only thing it's doing is basically, it's calling the type checker to see if there's any issues. And if it is, it's gonna report it. It also the parser, and yeah. So basically LSP. I don't think we even need to do anything more there, unless well, we could. What we could do is maybe stabilize it a little bit. The type checker, we need to actually figure out what we need to do in order to make that work, because that there's still work to be done with the type checker actually, especially, yeah. And also functions are very in flux right now, like how the types are gonna work. You know, the like type checking, for example, if you pipe a function into something else, how would the type checking work there? Would we even have type checking enabled for that? Maybe we just disable it for now, and it would just crash and burn if something goes wrong. We'll see. But that's going to be a more complex thing, which I don't think we'll do in MVP. But yeah, closure function closures, of course, we really want to have. Also, gotta make sure that the MVP sh has the same thing. So we'll go to like hello, and I think after bindings, yeah, we have the same thing. Function closures. Hello. X. So it has to match perfectly here. String X dot. Okay. So that we can check later that the outputs are like exactly the same. What else did we do? Yeah, so pipelines, actually this was something that was not supported in the previous version, which we actually already should be working now. I think, maybe. I will actually, maybe it doesn't work actually. Function pipeline. The types doesn't matter, by the way, so we'll just have like some kind of greeting here, and well, for the parameter I think maybe the type matters, but not these types doesn't matter for the function, but they need to be there, so I'll just add void. So let's just echo greeting hello. And then we, hello, I'm Ronik. And then we pipe that into, I don't know, let's just pipe it into cat for now. Okay. So it does work. I'm actually surprised. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but I am kind of surprised that it does work. Because I was sure that the return type of the function was like, of the function call, was different from just calling like echo hello, but maybe it's not. It actually should be this block here. If we remove the block, does it still work? Yes. Okay, cool. Hello Subadara, hope the language process is going good. Yes, going very good. Congrats on 500 subs. Yeah, thank you. That's a really nice milestone. Yeah, I never thought I would get 500 subs, to be honest, because it was such a niche thing. I mean, it's not like I'm showered in views or anything, but but yeah, it's really nice. I hope to keep this going and grow the channel. Do you use AI while calling during streams or only off screen? Sometimes. I did use AI right now, like in the beginning of this stream, a little bit. Okay, one thing that I'm actually going to do that right now. So, okay, so function pipelines actually work. Well, let me just do this here to be supported. Yes, it is already supported, so I'll just do this. This doesn't work in the previous version, but once I merge IR, this will work. But that won't happen until maybe a couple streams. I don't know. But basically here, what I want to do, there was something that we needed to check. What was it, like 4 loops? Because I wanted to So what I wanted to do was ask AI for like suggestions on how to implement for loops with array iterator and range iterator. And then it could also, because I already implemented this before, except in Zig, but now it's now we need to do it in IOR. So, well, okay, I guess before we make an array iterator, we actually need to make arrays, actually. Which would be way easier task. Maybe, because my idea was to ask AI how to do for loops, basically. Still stuck on 52 because I couldn't live stream. Oh, yeah. I don't think I will do live streams. Yeah. So I had the same issue actually when I first started out, because first I had like the streaming actually worked, but there was like a lot of drops because my internet sucked. So I ordered a new internet, but it took like a couple of months before I could get it. So in the meantime, actually I did like videos, video like YouTube video format instead. Which it also, I mean, that worked also, but it's a lot more work. Like I have to put a lot more time. But like first I have to do the actual like recording, and then the editing. If you're not used to it, also like it takes so much time. But now it's super easy because I don't do any editing at all. So I just stream and it gets uploaded automatically. So I don't even have to. I don't have to use any software or any, you know, editing software or anything. It just goes up. That's really nice. And also one of the services that I use can automatically generate clips. So, but yeah, then you would have to have sufficiently interesting clips as well. So I won't just put I guess anything out there. But yeah, I think live streaming, yeah, it's easier. But I think if you make like good videos, I think you would grow. I mean, I guess it depends. If you grow faster, I don't know. It's all the algorithm gods. And like how fast your video gets like likes and comments and engagement is like a huge part of how many views it gets. I like code in C, C++, Zig, making cool projects. My recent video was on C, making terminal RPG. Nice. Awesome. I love that. Okay. Okay, yeah. So it was good that we went through this, because it was more than I was thinking at first. It looked like there was not much left. Now we have a little bit more left, I think, that I want to have in like MVP before we can release like a first version of this. Well, it wouldn't even be like a, I mean, I would say like a first alpha version, I would say. Okay. And then there's even things like sub shells with, their own like context, like current working directory, environment variables, things like that. That would be nice to have as well. Like right now we don't really support having that. There's no sub shells or anything, which would be really good to have. I think you can do a lot of useful things with that, but yeah, whatever, it is what it is. Okay. By the way, I make a transpile programming language like a C++, the source compiler method one. I mean, well, so you want to make a program that transpiles a language, and the program is going to be written in C++. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't do it. What would it transpile from and to? I want to see, like, does the MVPs, or I mean the LSP still work? We have Runic LSP, but there it doesn't report anything. I'm not sure why. Error while parsing file. Closures, no, but that's SH. Because there should be errors in here. Well, maybe not actually. It's the compiler that gives the errors, not the type checker. So if I just say like LSP, and we'll do like x is an integer equals 3, and then x equals hello, this should be a compiler error or a type check error, but it's not. Okay, I'm not sure why this doesn't give us an error, but it is active. It has a lot of attached buffers. Maybe I'll just do this, go to LSP. No, it should give us an error, but it doesn't. I'm not sure why. Maybe the TypeScript, or I mean the type checker is like disabled or something. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, but that's gonna be it for this time. So we made some progress. We fixed the closure stuff, so now function closure seems to work perfectly for all different kinds of things. It works for mutable variables, constant variables. You can modify constant mutable variables and have it change in the outer scope as well. And also and the compound assignment. Whoops. Compound assignment. So these ones now are implemented and work here perfectly. Yeah, so really cool. But yeah, that is gonna be it for this time. So thank you very much for watching, and I think next time we'll tackle arrays as a precursor to for loops. We'll see how far we'll get. I'll probably use AI to help me along the way. And yeah, hope you have a nice day, and I will see you later.